Good morning and welcome to another edition of North Porter View from here. My name is Gene Matthews and I'll be your host today. With us today is Scott Williams, who is the Director of the Neighborhood Development Services Department. And Scott, welcome to the program, and give us a little rundown so the folks know you. We have people moving in all the time, and so I know you've been on before, but you know, people need to know who works for them.
No, thanks, Gene. And it's been a while since I've been on the program, so I'm more than happy to be here, and hopefully we can get out some information today. Neighborhood Development Services is my new title, and I just to give a little rundown, I've been with the city for 24 and a half years now. With a myriad of different titles, and we can go into that deeper later on. Originally from Ohio, the Buckeye State, and up in the northeastern corner, right on the coastal Lake Erie in the cold country. I've been, like I say, with the city for 24 years now, and have enjoyed my time, been married for 32 years, and have one son that's 27 years old that just graduated from the police academy.
Well, good. You must be proud of them. How did you come up with the name of Neighborhood Development Services, and a little scope on what it does?
Well, one of the main changes, and this is a newly developed name, and the city manager actually had made a comment to me, well, you quit being just a building department quite a while ago. We offer quite a few different services besides just development and building construction, that type of thing. One of the areas that I've had as part of my department for years is property standards, which helps to maintain the community standards that are set forth really by the community and enacted by the city commission. So. Very important. People are always concerned about the aesthetics and you know, different problem areas or things that they would like to see in the city, and so my staff in the property standards portion of the department are out looking and helping to keep that standard up to a certain level. Another portion about 3 years ago is a property maintenance division, which all of the landscaping that you see around City Hall and all of the facilities and all the parks, which, as you know, the city of Northport has a lot of different types of parks and facilities.
Sure.
And along with that, obviously, comes maintenance, not only of the landscaping, but the different components of it, whether it be the electrical and that type of thing. So the division is actually set up into two areas, one that takes care of all the facility maintenance, and the other portion that does the landscaping. And I think they do an outstanding job, and most people comment to that effect.
Well, I'd have to agree with you. You know, I ride around Sarasota County, Charlotte County an awful lot, and it's always a pleasure to come into Northport because we look professional.
Right. So in addition, and part of the change is that we now have combined planning department with building planning, zoning, and with the property maintenance and property standards. Really, it's not just solely development. It's also services that we provide to this community, and they're a lot more widespread, but yet they're all intertied. And therein lies the name Neighborhood Development Services.
Wow. That was a long way to get to the answer, but it was very informative. Now, you know, how does one really connect to the services that you provide? You know, I mean, what's their vehicle of getting a hold of you or one of your associates? Or
well, one of the things that that I was tasked to do as we combined the departments was to increase or to help the flow of the services that we provide. One of the disconnects that we've always had was just with the City Hall, with the different departments, with planning and zoning and building being on different levels on City Hall. So one of the first things that we did was did some reconstruction, built some additional offices, and rearranged the existing portions of what used to be the building department to accommodate the planning function as well as my other two divisions that I spoke of. So we moved the planning department down to the first floor, and then we kind of looked at the flow and how that would best work for the users that come in and out that we're providing services for. And one of my concerns with the amount of services we provide, that we would get a log jam, so to speak. And so we really segmented the department into separate divisions. So when you come to the first floor, straight in City Hall, there's a storefront window looking area that is the primary for taking in building permits and inspection information.
Right.
There's a window just before you go in that door that actually has somebody that's sitting there, handles most of the quick turnover of zoning issues, finding land files, or just in general to direct people into another section or service that we provide. At the end of the hall, we have a third entry point that takes care of our property standards and our planning functions. So what it does is it allows us to put people out to where the services are, so there's no delay in our process as well.
Well, good. If I was to say, well, I wanted to build a utility shed in the back of my home, where would I go?
You would go right through the front doors where the storefront that I'm talking about, and there's a counter that sits there, and obviously that also has zoning implications, and so some of the answers, just general questions, can be answered at the window coming in the door, or if you're actually looking to pull a permit and do that type of thing at that counter right there. And we do that pretty much across the counter at the most 1 to 2 days that we can process that.
A lot of people are afraid of government and securing information or not being able to secure information. So having it available to them is very good. I just hope you can advertise it so that people know where to come or where to go.
We do our best. We have a wonderful website. We're always putting out information pamphlets, and periodically have different sessions that we pull people in to go over code changes, and we actually had an open house when we first set up, Gene, and we did it internally first, so all the other departments that we work with understand the layout and how the process is working and where people are sitting. And then we opened it up to the public on another session, and it went over real well and had a lot of good comments and suggestions on things that we could improve even though we first started.
Yeah, it's frustrating when you call government and you say, I want this, and they say, I don't know, and that's the end of the conversation. So, teaching everybody where to go and where to look and how to look in a directory to say, go here.
Right.
And that's a great thing because it gives better confidence for the people about your city. We've no doubt everybody out in the audience and yourself, especially you, know the economic situation we've been under for the past few years. What does the climate look like now? What kind of activity are you seeing, and what do you anticipate for the next, let's say, year?
Well, it's always it goes back to the crystal ball and who holds it and that type of thing. However, we've got some great staff, and we've actually worked projections over the last several years. Very difficult as things dropped off, to rearrange and figure how how we go from where we're at right now with the reduction of staff that we have and how much work we anticipate coming. The nice part about it, and even though the numbers, people always want to look at the numbers of single-family homes and how, and that's a gear, and you're only doing 50 or you're only doing 60 or something like that. 2 years ago, the projections were only 40 single-family residences for the year. We actually did, in that particular year, did 69 single-family residents. Last year, Again, we projected in at 40 and we did 91. Now, a lot of people say, wow, that sure isn't very much. To me, it is. We've readjusted our staffing levels to be able to get through and provide the services without delay. So those numbers are significant to me. More so in commercial, we go on square footages on commercial, and the total square footage projections for the last 2 years have been at 75,000. We've done over 150,000 square feet or commercial construction in that period of time. And what's really nice is we're doing a lot of build outs and for which existing structures that were built and then just kind of went on a little
Sure.
quiet time. We've been doing a lot of build outs, in the range of 50 per year of build outs of buildings that had been, the shells had been built. So we're seeing good activity. Now this year, once again, we stepped up this time our single family projections to 80. I'm going to say,
Oh, boy.
and I'm going to do the crystal ball and say we're doing over 100. And we feel that, we've readjusted our staffing levels to where they're going to be taxed through this particular year. And I'm glad to say that at this point we've not done any reduction in service levels. We're still processing our permits and that at a pretty rapid pace.
Of course, when you look at the amount of inventory we have on hand, it's no wonder that the new construction is down, because the inventory on hand is far less expensive than the newer construction.
It is, Gene, but at the same time, we monitor abandoned homes. And first there was, 300 to 400 abandoned homes at various stages of construction, throughout the city of Northport. Right now, that 300 to 400 is at about 70. So people are buying them up, and the difficult part, as you know, is the foreclosed homes and that type of thing. However, even those are turning, and to where people are coming in and pulling permits and doing some restorations to those homes, and we're seeing that activity as well.
Yeah, I mean, I see and hear it around town that things are moving through the realtors. Again, hard times. You talked a little bit about your services during that time. We were sharing things. And how's your budget coming along? Are you able to kind of balance out the cost of your department versus the incoming flow, cash flow?
We are, and actually, Gene, it's kind of a, again, it's a real adjustment, and of course I'm stepping in another new area with taking on an additional, which was an additional department, but I'm, one of the guides for me, and one of the more difficult, is my building fund, which is a special revenue fund. And a lot of people really don't understand the fact that the special revenue fund is a fund that is funded through the building permit process. So it's not in general taxpayers' money or the general fund, right, that a lot of people say. Well,
enterprise account.
That's correct. And unfortunately, as we took such a drop in the last couple of years, the department or the building portion or the special revenue had to be subsidized by the general fund. That now, over the course of the last 2 years, the subsidy that we did receive from that general fund portion is reducing considerably with the revenues that we're bringing in. And I'm happy to say that this is the first year in 3 years that I haven't had to budget an additional subsidy from the general fund to subsidize the building portion. So that's telling you that the activities across the board are they're doing what they're supposed to be doing for the department.
Scott, we're almost out of time, so I want to thank you for coming here. And I'm sure the taxpayers want to thank you also, because the budget with your department is almost revenue neutral. So there's no additional monies coming out of the taxpayers' pockets. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for the visit, and we will see you again.